Hello friends. Uh, Today our topic is collection framework. The collection framework defines several interfaces. So this section provides an overview of each interface. Beginning with the collection interface, it is very important and necessary because they determine the fundamental nature of the collection classes. Okay. So today we will talk about completely collection framework. You can also view my website https://javanotion.com for more details. Okay, and you can follow this website for more details on Java. So the introduction part, the collection interface is the foundation upon which the collection framework is built because it must be implemented by any class that defines a collection. Okay, collection interface is basically the foundation upon which the collection framework is built. You can define collection framework and you can implement it by any class which define a collection. So basically it is a generic interface, okay, that has this declaration collection and this one E, okay, interface collection E. Here E specifies the type of objects that the collection will hold. Collection extends the iterable interface, okay. Collection extends the iterable interface. So we have understood that collection is basically the foundation upon which the collection framework is built, okay, and it must be implemented by any class that defines a collection because it is a generic interface, okay, and we can define it by using interface collection E. Here E specifies the type of objects that the collection will hold. So collection basically extends the iterable interface. Coming to the exception part, a class cast exception. Class cast exception is generated when one object is incompatible with another, such as when an attempt is made to add an incompatible object to a collection. A class cast exception is basically generated when one object is incompatible with another, such as when an attempt is made to add an incompatible object to a class. When we add some incompatible object to a collection, then the exception will generate, which is class cast exception, okay, because incompatible object is found, okay. Coming to the null pointer exception. When the null pointer exception is thrown, if an attempt is made to store a null object, okay, and null elements that are not allowed in the collection. If the null object is not allowed in the collection, then the exception will be thrown, which is known as null pointer exception. Okay, so null pointer exception is basically the null object, okay. When an attempt is made to store a null object, then the exception will be thrown, which is known as null pointer exception. Coming to the illegal argument exception, okay. Illegal argument exception is thrown if an invalid argument is used. If we use an invalid argument in collection, then the exception will be thrown, which is known as illegal argument exception. Coming to the illegal state exception, which is thrown if an attempt is made to add an element to a fixed length collection that is full. If the collection which has a length defined and it is full, then that exception will be thrown, which is known as illegal state exception. Now we will talk about some important functions of collection, okay. Objects are added to a collection by calling add method, okay. Objects are added to a collection by calling add method. Add basically takes an argument of type E, which means that objects added to a collection must be compatible with the type of data which is expected by the collection. So if you want to add objects in collection, you have to call add method. Okay. If you want to add the entire contents of one collection to another, then you have to call add all method. Okay. Add all method to the entire contents of one collection to another. If you want to remove an object, then you have to use remove method. Okay. And to remove a group of objects, you need to call remove all method. Okay. You can remove all elements except those of a specified group by calling retain all. If you want to remove all elements except those of a specified group, okay, if you want to retain the specified group, the element in the specified group, then you have to call retain all method. If you want to empty a collection, then which function you call? Which method you will call? You will call clear method. If you want to determine whether a collection contains a specific object, then you have to call contains method. By calling isEmpty method, you can determine whether the collection is empty or not. If you want to know whether the collection is empty or not, then you have to call isEmpty method. Number of elements which currently held in a collection can be determined by calling size method. If you want to know what exactly is the size of the collection, what exactly the collection holds the element, then you have to call size method. Two collections can be compared by calling equals. Two collections can be compared for equality by calling equals. Two collections can be compared for equality by calling equals method. If you want to compare two collections, then you need to call equals method. Okay. Now, very important point we will discuss is iterator method. Okay. It is very important method, iterator, which returns an iterator to a collection. Iterators basically used when working with collection.